Welcome to episode 4 of 2026 of the Hook, Riff and Banger podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm Dan.
Today we were chatting to Tim and Chris from Malignant Aura. We stole them away for a few days after they've been on tour, and we spoke about their incredible album that they released in Jan.
Yeah, I happened to catch them here a couple of days ago as we filmed, before we filmed. And yeah, it was an excellent show for an excellent album. It's very crushing, very eclectic and doomy and death, and creates an insane atmosphere that you should check out if you haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's very deliberate how they want you to feel all of your feelings and experience everything. There's also a gong.
It's a gong, a lot of gong.
Yeah, it was a great chat.
They're great dudes, and it was really nice to chat to them about their process, all sides of their album and release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
You will. You should definitely listen to the album as well. It's out now. But this episode has been pretty fun.
Yeah.
Turns out one of them had a box of bones and they took it on the London Underground.
I think you're supposed to do that normally.
I don't think so either. Anyway, it's a great episode. You should
Legal
watch it.
in this case.
It may or may not have been legal. We don't know.
I think we'll find out.
We'll find out. You tell us.
Fact check.
Would it be funny if they said like they just love like the mountain bikes? You know, there's mountain bike brand giant. Yeah.
Yeah. Big outdoorsy guys.
It's like it's all mountain bike themed.
Yeah. Beneath the mountain bike.
Yeah.
That's the name of the album.
Oh man.
Every time.
Come on, guys.
This is why we need to just fade in from organic yaps about the fucked shoes.
That's true.
And about how tiny Sean is.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
As soon as you said like, oh, it's professional, I was gonna say like, yeah, wait until you hear us talk.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
it ain't good. It all falls apart very
This
quickly.
is what we can't do cold opens.
Yeah. We need to figure it out. You guys are just gonna start recording from now on and just not tell us.
Oh, shit.
4 minutes.
Sweet.
Oh, right,
We've
okay.
done it.
Did you start when we started saying that we're going to start beef with Giant?
The whole 3 things in there.
Great.
I'll bring them show and tell next time.
All right.
I can be the next
I've
guest.
seen a lot of gigs.
So we're mainly here today to talk about some beef, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Do you wanna just throw it out on the table?
Yeah, let's open with beef.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get this on camera.
Oh, it's fair.
Too late.
Well, we can turn off the video and go audio only for this portion.
Keep it anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah. We aren't here with Malignant Aura today. This isn't Chris, nor is this Tim.
Thanks, man.
This is Jess and this is Dan.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
That's about the only truthful thing. This is actually Giant in disguise.
All the opinions shared today are Hook, Riff and Bangers.
Absolutely. We own everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Take all responsibility.
Yeah, I've been screen shooting them off the teleprompter.
Yeah, we've actually written all of this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everything that we
Same
say
riff.
is scripted, but
Yeah.
it's hard to the script.
This is a scripted TV
Yeah.
show. Reality.
We got to get some canned laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save all the laughter. It's a pretty serious pod.
So thank you for coming. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rested up a little bit from the last 3 shows.
Guys been busy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been intense. It's been great.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be off the road for a couple of days, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to catch you on Saturday at the Bendy here, and it was a sick show. How's the tour been for your album launch?
Really good. So we did Adelaide Thursday night, Hobart Friday night, here, Melbourne, Saturday night, Benny and Saturday night. Yeah, really, really fantastic so far. All of the other bands on the bill have been phenomenal. Adelaide, we had Lemonade Mortem open, and then we had Sun Tzu, who's an Adelaide local band, like an Oriental themed death metal band,
Yeah.
exceptional. And Carcinoid came across from Melbourne as well, and they always rip, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really good time. That was our first time back in Adelaide since 2022.
Yeah. Last time we played there was at Enigma.
Yeah, Enigma Bar, which is shut now, sadly.
Yeah.
Don't know if you guys know.
Castle was very good.
Yeah, Ed Castle was great. Yeah. But yeah, that was great. That was a good time. Good to be back. And then Hobart on Friday was phenomenal. Yeah, it was really exceeded our expectations. Everyone showed up. It was great. Again, the bands were like world class coming out of Tasmania. Portcullis, excellent black metal band. There was Grim Ripper, who's also an excellent death metal band, and Permafog, another fucking great Tasmanian black metal band. And that was really sick. Yeah, really, really sick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd say I was pleasantly surprised, but we were expecting it to be good in terms of the bands, and
Of course,
we
yeah.
were hoping the turnout would be good, being Good Friday and all that.
Yeah.
Definitely, there's a certain contingent of people who go, Good Friday, time to see some black metal, time to have a nasty time.
Yeah,
And
you picked a perfect weekend for
they
this
did
tour.
show up,
Yeah.
so it was good to see.
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you guys played Hobart before, or is that your first time?
That's the first time,
Yeah.
Hobart.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, people have played down there before in the band, in other bands and whatever. Yeah, I mean, we were all pumped for it, but it definitely exceeded our expectations. The metal scene down there is alive and well. That's what I would say, really.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Yeah. And then Saturday was here.
Yeah.
And that was great. And it's always great in Melbourne. It was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, the bands were phenomenal. We had Grave Peeler open up, who haven't played in a while. We played with them a very long time ago. I know those guys have been a bit silent in the background, but it was awesome to see them again. Really awesome. And then we had Thrall on, who we played back with in September last year with Uada. Those guys rule. And then Carcinoid again graced our presence. And they always rip. And it was sick. And I had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
A great collection of bands, and like you said, you know, Grave Peeler, whenever they do play, which is kind of not as often anymore, it's like you've got to go because they're fucking sick every time.
I know.
Carcinoid as well. They've just continued to build this enormous presence and get better and better and better. And their current lineup is fucking absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
they're
brilliant.
killing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Both bands that have a really rockin' style. They
Yeah.
rip along, and especially Carcinoid has been getting a little bit weirder with it lately, which I always enjoy. So
Yeah.
hopefully they twist it up a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, that could be the beef.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carcinoid, get
you got
weird.
some good riffs, but you got space to get a bit weirder, mate.
All right, Carcinoid's got to come on the pod and defend it.
We're still playing another show with them, remember, in a couple of weeks.
Don't
Yeah,
slag them
okay,
off.
I take it back.
They won't see this for a little while.
yeah, exactly.
Talk as much smack about.
We're going to need
Yeah,
some
yeah.
technical difficulties and delays.
This episode will not be aired.
Redact the whole thing.
Yeah, we just cancel the whole thing.
But yeah, then we've got Sydney in 2 weeks with a bunch of bands. The Sydney show is 3 album launches. So
wow.
we've got Mourners, who's a local band opening up, local Death Doom band, who I'm really excited to see. They've got some stuff. I haven't actually seen them before. They've got stuff on Bandcamp, split with some really cool bands. Really, really excited to see that. And then Circle of Blood from Victoria are launching their album up there. So they put their record through Grindhead, which we just did recently. So it was cool to have them on the bill. And then we've got Golgotha Remains, who are friends of the band. They rule. Mammon's Throne, who also just put out an album.
Yep.
They're launching an album in Sydney in the same show as us, and then us. So that'll be really, really cool.
a
You're all
huge
playing
one,
together.
5 bands playing together.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Massive.
Yeah.
Huge.
yeah, it'll be massive.
That's almost a festival.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really great. Yeah.
Yeah, Mourners are sick.
Yeah, really cool. I'm really keen to see them. I've been following them for a while, so
Yeah.
it'll be cool to see live. Yeah.
Yeah, I stumbled upon them on Bandcamp. And it's just like, oh, what's this? And they're great.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Sick. Yeah.
And you get to hang out with the Mammon's Throne guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're old friends of the band as well. We played together. We played their first album launch, so it's kind of fitting that they're playing our second album launch,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
which is cool. But this is their second album launch, I guess. So, maybe forever we'll just keep playing each other's albums.
I think
Yeah.
that's a
Every second.
tradition you need to keep going forever.
For
Every
sure.
second.
Yeah.
I think we've got a good partnership.
Yeah. I mean,
I kind of think of us and Mammon's Throne like we're 2 opposite sides of the same coin, you know? Just playing
Yeah.
the Death Doom together. These guys, they pull out a more classic, peaceful sound.
Yeah.
And we try to take that and make it a lot more nasty and,
Yeah.
down in the dark caverns. So it's always good to play together because we can bring people up and then take them down again.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I've never seen you play together, but it'd be a really good show. Like, I
Yeah.
can see it working well. So your second album, I had to look at the teleprompter because I knew I was going to mumble and stumble it. Where All of Worth Comes to Wither. Really sick. We love it.
Yeah.
And it's been out for a little while now, a few months. How has it been to release that into the world? And I'd love to talk about the process of building it up and writing and everything that's, it's gone with it. How's it been?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for the nice words. Really appreciate that. The reception's been fantastic. We're kind of overwhelmed, to be honest, with the reception.
Yeah. We got reviews coming out from all over the globe, and a lot of acclaim, and it's a bit humbling. But when you put so much hard work and time into something like that, and especially something like what we do, it does take a bit to pull together and craft. And so getting it out the door and in front of the world, seeing that positive feedback come in is just it's very I approach it with the attitude of gratitude, and it's good feels.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, in terms of putting it together, our writing process is probably a bit more involved than a lot of other bands. What we tend to do is write a lot of the stuff through guitar, and namely through like a program like Guitar Pro, and we send things around this way and we craft it in Guitar Pro, then taking that to like the jam room, working it through. That's usually the space where we all have these contributions to it, and we really refine it, particularly in terms of structure and adding riffs here and there and adding parts and whatever. And then from there, we're starting to like pre-pro stuff, so sending demos out, seeing if it actually works on a record. So it's a really lengthy process. A big difference between this one and the last one is that we had the first album was kind of like the creative child of Tim and I. We wrote that just between us, whereas this new album, it's a lot of input from both of us, of course, but we've got the other influences of the other bandmates in there as well. So, and I think that really shows, and it's really like brought out. We've kind of focused in a lot more of the character of the band rather than just having these two creative influences.
Yeah, I think so. I think in that regard, we proved the concept with the first one. We really went out on a limb with it. And, we kind of met up, we had beers, we talked about it. We got this concept in mind in terms of we want to make people have a very unpleasant time in a good way. And it's good to see people liking it. But we've taken that out on the road. And then I guess there's an old death metal saying, which is just play your fast parts faster and your slow parts slower. And, make your stilted parts lurch more and your gross parts more gross. And so I think because we've got the concept, because the structure was there going into this one, it gave us a chance to play a bit more musically and push those boundaries a little bit. So that created some fun challenges, but it also allowed us to, lean on the expertise of some of the other guys and pull in the different disciplines that make it all work. Not that they weren't involved in the first one, they certainly helped with the arrangement and structuring and making it into the real life thing that it is. But having everyone involved from the ground up just allowed us to sort of push the direction a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think we did, or at least I hope, get those fast parts faster.
It certainly sounds like the slow parts were slower and the fast parts were faster.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I want to ask, the opening track, the title track, the record as soon as you hit play, it's so grim because it's like, it's haunting because you don't know what's about to come and it just slowly starts building and there's a fucking gong. And it's just this brutal smack in the face, and then as soon as you start rolling into the other tracks, it's just like, hold on, like strap in. Yeah. It's fast, it's really gnarly. How does putting together tracks that go for because you've got 3 tracks that go for over 10 minutes, how do those processes go of just building and where do you set your line? Where does it end?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been asked this question a few times, and it's kind of, it never really, when I'm writing music, doesn't really occur to me that, this song has to go for 3 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's like the song is the length of what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time the music will just take me on a journey, and it's like, this is, the narrative that we want to tell with, the way the music proceeds through it. And oftentimes that just ends up being over 10 minutes. Yeah. I'm also a fan of just, what we particularly do with live shows. I mean, there's nothing against bands who do this, but if I'm going to see a band live, I just want to see music. I don't want to see these big pauses in between where they're talking and whatever. And so, we have songs that go for ages, but for me, I love seeing songs go for ages because I love experiencing music, you know, all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I really enjoy collaborating with Chris on the storytelling element. Just with the songs, you know, we'll talk about and do a bit of a discussion about the vision behind it. And as you were saying, like some of the emotions and the feelings for some of the parts. And then we really like to just try to see if we can take that journey through those different emotions. So for us, and part of the reason that our music does take a little bit to craft is getting that arrangement just so. You know, I am a big fan of a quick juxtaposition between two different ideas. But in 14 minutes, if you drop from the fast part into the slow bit and the slow bit into the fast bit, you know, it will get old pretty fast. So getting it all to hang together and take people on that journey is part of the fun. But it does take a lot of work to get that energy management right.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are very good at that, and you know, it is quite juxtaposing in a sense to play death and doom, you know, because it does jump from slow as hell and then fast as hell, I guess. I should think of another word, but that's a really refined process, and you guys are really good. You're very melodic where it needs to be, and very brutal and intense, and you know, smash a blast in there and blast faces off. It's really good. So it's nice to hear your process and how collaborative it is. Yeah, I always find it the most interesting question, honestly, asking a group of people writing, and it's cool to hear your answer to that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of this one as well, admittedly, the first album, you know, Pete, our drummer, he wrote the drum parts, but, you know, the music was already written. Whereas this one, we came in with riffs and we came in with ideas of songs, and then, you know, Pete would add those blast bits, for instance. He'd be like, this would be sick if we could blast into this bit, or this bit really needs some cool kicks and this kind of stuff. And I feel like that's really elevated a lot of, particularly those death metal moments. I mean, at the core of all of us, we just love death metal, you know, and we love doom metal. And so, you know, trying to put those together is kind of our ambition, and I hope we achieve it, really.
Oh, you definitely are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
and this record's just proving it.
Appreciate
even
it.
more so. Yeah, I think the storytelling element is, you know, whatever you receive that story as in the moment, because, you know, I don't know the story behind this record, but watching it, you're like, I'm taking whatever I need from it, and I'm on this journey, and I love it too. I'm a big firm believer in, you know, when the show's on, everybody must shut up and watch the show and just be in it and be present. And so to get lost, you know, for 10, 15 minutes, that could feel like an hour in your head, or it could feel like 5 minutes. What kind of themes, like what is your writing style, lyrics? We're going to talk to you about lyrics. You know, what stories were you telling during this record?
A lot of it, for me, you know, this might sound pretty cliche, but a lot of it I'm trying to convey a lot of hopelessness, really. You know, it's drawn upon from, you know, times of my life where I've felt these kind of feelings, you know, and I know that everyone experiences this stuff. So it's, you know, yeah, I mean, we want to be sad and we lean into being really sad, but, you know, there's also these moments of coming out the back end of it being triumphant. And I feel like that is part of the process of going through, you know, tragedy and sorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I take a bit more of a philosophical bent to it myself. I guess heavy themes in our music would be things like death, some of the more suffering based experiences that you have in life, existential dread, and the feeling of things being a bit uncanny when you're having a bad time. But I guess on the flip side of that is we're trying to give people a chance to experience those emotions. We're not telling them to live there. And so we do add a little bit of triumph and try to bring people back out of it. And it becomes part of the energy management as well. You want to get people to feel something, but then you want to give them a sick riff so they can get back to reality with. And so balancing those components and getting a story that goes across those sort of feelings is part of the challenge. But yeah, I guess that's, excuse me. With that in mind, a lot of the songs are about that darker side of the human experience. And I think when people come along and watch the show, they can feel something not quite right. And part of that is because, as you said, we all go through some of these experiences in our life, and I guess, some worse than others, and some get stuck in unfortunate places for longer than others. But it's part of the human experience. And so we try to explore that, distill it down, put it into an art, because for us at least, art is a good way to investigate that part of humanity and put it out there so people can experience it. We hope that they don't end up taking it out of the room with them, except as a positive experience and a chance to be part of arts and culture. But it's always good to kind of explore some of those topics that the other guy won't, and make something, something a bit fresh and interesting because you're willing to do it.
Yeah. Often after our live performances, I'm sure you get this as well, but I have people come up and say that, one certain part connected with them so much about, this, it really reminded them of this moment in their life, of this, tragedy that occurred, and they felt like they were, going back to that moment, but then they'd also say it was so great that, they were able to relive that through death metal and then be brought back to reality with just a death metal riff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to give people a good riff as a reward for the morose experience that we put upon them.
Yeah, it's a gift after feeling your feelings, which is
That's
something
right.
that is not very easy to do a lot of the time. Yeah.
I think with our music, though, we do have the guiding principle that we will not necessarily leave it on a triumphant note. So this is why I do say that for those of us, out there who are having these experiences, hopefully you don't end up in the place that Malignant Aura describes for any longer than is necessary.
That's true. Yeah. Nice.
You must come out the other side at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, I love the level of sculpting and like the framework and composition, and the intent behind like your performance as well. Like, just seeing you guys start jumping on stage, one by one with the big gong, and it was awesome. It was just a really huge experience. Bendy Band Room is not the biggest place in the world, but you made it huge. It was fantastic. It's really interesting. It's really cool.
People love the gong, and we love getting a chance to take it out and just smash the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
Did that travel from Brisbane?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We got a custom made travel flight case for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever flew you over. There's a custom spot for the gong. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you
It had to be
consider the
done.
gong as a member of the band?
It's definitely essential now.
Yeah.
I think every track on this album has a gong here on it, which we recorded in the studio.
Yeah.
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 So they wouldn't be complete without it.
This is a word of warning for anyone in the audience who's thinking about buying a gong. Once you have one, people won't let you not use it. You have to bring it with you. Otherwise,
We should have asked you
you'll
to bring
find
it
yourself in
today.
a bit of disrepute.
Becomes the party trick forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the gong. Get him to bring the
Gong
gong
guy.
to the
Yeah.
party.
Yeah. We need more gong.
I understand. There's something very ceremonial about it too, like the beginning and the end and the grandeur of it all. And it's also something we don't get to see, especially at the Bendy or any other small band rooms. Nobody else is really bringing out a gong.
Yeah, I mean, we've played some rooms and we've had the gong up, which, we couldn't even fit on stage, and we've got the gong up there. It does make things difficult, but,
Yeah, logistical challenges are a thing. Stage real estate is the thing.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, it's just a fantastic way to break people out of reality. And, I mentioned before, part of what we do is about trying to recreate those uncanny feelings you get sometimes when, you have certain life experiences and the dots don't quite connect. And I think we've been doing death metal in one way, shape or form, all of us, for a long time. We're alumni of other bands and things like that. And this is our opportunity to twist it up and make it a bit uncanny. And if we can get people into that mindset and bring them along on the journey with us, with a trick like smashing the ever-loving hell out of a gong, that's a shortcut for us that we're going to use.
Yeah.
Plus people love it.
It's certainly memorable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, we've spoken about composing, writing, performing. You've released this physically, and you've also released like a lot of really cool physical media, I guess, and in conjunction with this album. Like the cover art is really nice for both albums as well. But I'd love to talk about the visual side of things, because the vinyl itself is beautiful. You have a really good eye for detail. Can you tell us about all of that?
Yeah, I mean the art, both art pieces from Abysmal Misfortune and Well of Worth Comes to Wither were done by Paolo Girardi, who's an Italian artist. So they're hand painted, and
wow.
yeah,
You can
hand painted
definitely
pieces.
see that there is this Italian kind of
Exactly.
historic, but also so brutal.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagery.
Yeah. And he, first of all, I mean, he is a massive fan of kind of Peaceville classic doom. And so when we asked to work with him, he was really keen to work with us to do it. We send him influences, lyrical themes, art styles, which we're seeing in our head from the music. And he kind of runs with that. And every time we send him a brief, he's been so keen to and so excited to do it.
It's really fantastic.
Yeah, and it comes back and it's on point, exactly what we want. Yeah.
I think after, writing an artistic brief, sending it off to him for the first album, getting it back and just being absolutely floored by his ability to capture, the spirit of what we were trying to do. When we got a chance to work for him the second time, we ended up looking back at the first album. We've done it once successfully. What are we going to do differently this time? And we read back through that artistic brief, and I think even to us, like some of the details that he put in and the seeds that we'd sown for him, to see that artwork with a fresh set of eyes after a couple of years, once that original honeymoon period had worn off, we could see some of these influences directly referenced in there in ways that we couldn't pick up. And it's because I think, as you said, he's a big fan of Peaceville. I think he enjoys an opportunity to do something different because he does a lot of surreal, horror-based art that's more on the gnarly, brutal death metal side. But also, I just think he's passionate about it in general, and he, just like us and just like you guys, like to find those small details and accentuate them and play in that space and explore.
For sure. And then we do the graphics design ourselves. I mean, actually, Tim does a lot of the graphics design for the actual physical releases, for the CDs and vinyls and these kind of stuff. And, a big mentality of that. I mean, it doesn't seem like the graphics design is very important, but it's super important for the final product. And we know that, and we want to make something that is, looks like professionally done, professional album. We take our time with it. We make sure that those details that you were referencing are there, in the final product. And really pride ourselves on it, to be honest. Yeah.
It's a bit stressful, to be quite honest.
It is stressful.
When you're working with like a master done Italian oil paint scholar's work, and you've got to put that in a frame that makes it pop and do what it needs to do. Intimidating.
Like we labored over like little things like the font to use, stuff like that. Like that was a journey just to arrive at the font.
Yeah.
It sounds mad, doesn't it? Like, I understand for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do. Yeah, it's like, it's those little touches, that really make something from here to here.
They are so important.
Yeah, 100%.
And especially if you're keeping this consistency, because you've worked with him for your first release, and seeing the two together, you can definitely tell that there's a story that's being told.
Yeah.
And that you're in that same story, or maybe not the same story itself, but you're telling in the same way the story. Totally understand, like sitting there over fonts or like details or tiny little things. And who's working with oil painting Italian artists and having to then make little tweaks to it? I mean, it just shows that you put so much detail into your writing processes and recording, and you're just maybe taking on more every time you do it, but if that's your practice, so it's working.
Oh, and but the end result is phenomenal. We're like, again, blown away. Like, it was amazing to receive the vinyls, and we got those done by Grindhead and Primitive Moth, who are based out of Sydney, and it was a coloured vinyl. I wish I had a disc here with me, but they're like hand poured, and the actual disc itself is so fitting for the artwork, and it was amazing to see it actually,
Like ripples and the colours are just, it's amazing. It's
really cool, and we were all blown away. It was so, it was like all of that effort was really worth it in the end. Yeah, for sure.
Details start to finish.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're putting your whole heart and soul into something.
For sure.
Yeah. So do you have tracks written at this stage when you're putting together your brief for the artist? Or do you think the artwork, once you see it, inspires the writing?
We will have the skeleton of tracks. I believe we had the skeleton of tracks for
Yeah. I think in terms of what comes first out of the art and the music and the writing, writing first, art second. That said, because with our band we do try to cultivate that vision, and we've got particularly difficult things that we try to express about life in general. We kind of keep a bit of a it's a bit trite to say, but a mood board of sorts. We're communicating about the art as we go, the same way as we are about which band just put out the sick death metal album of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an ongoing dialogue, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So when it came time this time to work with Paolo, we sort of sat down and we did a bit of a reflection, I think, on what we'd written for the album, and tried to pull out some of the conceptual stuff that we thought might make it into the visual realm. But on the other side of that, we also had like a small collection of Harry Clarke sketches of Edgar Allan Poe. We had some oil paintings of recreations of the Battle of Waterloo that had a particular twist to the way that the lighting worked through the smoke of burning ships. And so we found what spoke to us.
Yeah.
And both times we worked with Paolo, we've been able to say, here are some ideas that sort of spoke to us artistically, but we really want to see how you remix them and what you come up with. And so, it's been great.
It's a cool partnership. It's really sick. Yeah.
Do you think you'll continue to work with Paolo?
I hope so.
Yep.
That would be really cool. If he's interested to work with us.
Yeah.
I hope so. That'd be great.
I think seeing all the phases of this journey of Malignant Aura as it goes on.
Yeah. For sure.
I think also just seeing all of the work together.
Yeah.
They're beautiful pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, he's always the best dude to work with. He's really great. He's, it's really funny because he's this big Italian guy, and you should follow him on Instagram because he's really funny. He's always in like his field cultivating tomatoes or something, and then and he's standing with his artwork being really cult. But then he'll send me an email with like a little smiley face emoji, and it's like just imagining this big Italian dude over like a keyboard sending a message with a smiley face emoji. Yeah, really nice guy, legend. Yeah, absolute legend.
You can be brutal and sweet at the same time.
For sure.
Apparently.
Absolutely. I would love to hang out with him sometime. I want to go to it's like a small town in Italy he lives in. I want to go and just have a beer with him because I reckon it'd be sweet.
For the first Malignant Aura Italian show.
Yeah, it's like Paolo's town,
Yes! In the field.
In his tomato field.
Tomatoes for everyone. Yeah.
That'd be good. Hey, that bell, is that from Italy? From Where All of Earth Comes to Wither, the bell sound?
Oh, it's from, a small... No, I feel like it's France. It's not Italy. It's from his medieval town.
Yeah.
Now you've got the French involved.
Well, we're going to have to stop there. 2-stop tour. Yeah.
Perform at the bell.
Yeah.
The bell tower.
At the bell and at Paolo's house. Great.
That's great.
I want to see Paolo's tomatoes on the merch table. That's
Yes.
That would be great. That little fruit stand.
Yeah.
Fruit and vegetable stand.
Tell you what, once Malignant Aura gets to the stage where we have a global supply chain,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll get some shipped in.
Yeah. Fresh passata.
I like it.
Actually, more merch tables need more snacks, I reckon. More food.
We were just at
Trail mix.
we were at Black Sound yesterday. At
I saw the
Lewis's
photo.
shop.
You've got to get a picture in front of the wall.
Yeah.
We did that when we were there.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
We had a chat with Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis is a legend.
Yeah.
We played with Alters. The first Immeasurable Darkness, we played with those guys, 3 shows with them. Anyway, awesome. But yeah, they had the Destructor hot sauce on the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Just having like a hot sauce on a merch table would be fucking really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love alternative.
I think you'll be doing pasta sauces.
Yeah, pasta sauce would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that you've mentioned it, we're not talking about pasta sauce. I'd love to talk about immeasurable darkness. Like, that is cool. That is so sick. Number 4 had just like the coolest like lineup of local bands, and all opening for Swallow the Sun. Like you had Killat, Burden Man. I forget the names of everyone else now, but like, can you talk about that? Because you had some part in organising that. Is that right?
We organised the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like Malignant Aura's kind of mini fest. That started at the show I mentioned with Alters, and basically in Brisbane It's gotten much better now, but when we first started playing shows, there was a real lack of underground death metal, underground black metal shows, and particularly venues as well. And so we started that as, you know, we as not only Malignant Aura, but as death metal fans knew that Australia has like some of the world-class bands, you know, and just almost giving them an opportunity to come to Brisbane, because you speak to a lot of these bands and, you know, they talk about, they go up to Brisbane, it's not promoted well, they don't get many people at the show, you know, they're a bit disappointed and then they never come back, you know. And there's a Brisbane scene, there's people hungry for it, but, you know, us being locals, we kind of knew that, and we kind of knew what people are like. And so we wanted to create this space that we could bring these bands from around the country because they rule. And so, yeah, the first one started with, you know, an attempt to revive an old bar called Rosie's, which is like an institution in Brisbane. And that was really sick, but we outgrew that immediately. And we had to go to somewhere bigger. So then that was the first one, and then the second one, now it's become this thing. And last time we played with Soapbox and we had Swallow the Sun headline. That was a collaboration with Your Mate, Anthony from Your Mate. Which was really cool because, you know, he was bringing them out at the same time and we're like, hey, we're putting on this fest, and he was keen, the bands were keen. That was like, you know, really, really great. So yeah, it's become this huge thing and it's really, really cool. And again, it's about showcasing some of the world-class metal that we've got in Australia, underground metal, you know, in Brisbane, because there's not many opportunities to do it. And it's really successful, and I'm really proud of what it is, you know? Yeah.
I think a lot of kudos to you and Jono for doing a lot of the logistics again. But you guys have really managed to keep the ball rolling in terms of how many excellent acts you can bring in from all over the place. I've had fun doing the logo for the last few ones, and every time we just try to upgrade it a little bit and lineup, turnout, logo, venue. We just try to take one step further each time.
Really cool.
As it's built up, it's become its own thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's incredible to hear that there is that growth happening, because, you know, we hear so much of venues closing, venues that we love, venues that we've all been to, and things like that closing. So to hear that there's this, you know, this festival that's bringing all these people together of, you know, pretty, you know, popular bands from all over the place, but to be all together and then keep growing it and growing it and growing it as you go each year, that's a really good thing to see, that live music is, you know, still got its heart. Yeah,
and I think like every city like has its own, you know, a band might be like hugely popular within Melbourne, for instance, and, you know, they're really cool and they've released a new album and all this kind of stuff, but people in Brisbane are completely unaware of them, you know, and it's like to getting this opportunity to go up and actually do it at a show that, you know, now has become this this annual thing that people know they can go to and see these really cool acts, I think is just really, really good, and really good for the scene, and like really good for tying together nationally how good Australian bands are, really. And if we can keep going with having an international headliner every year, I mean, that'll be sweet. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
When did the international headliner start for this festival?
It was just this year. This last one gone, number 4. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, and again, that was just because literally Your Mate was bringing them out. But, I mean, it was a huge success. So we haven't been talking about next year yet, but it'd be cool to do it again, for sure. Yeah.
It's really cool. I remember Reekminder on that as well. Like,
that's right.
It's so cool.
Great band.
Yeah,
phenomenal band.
Yeah.
We were actually meant to play it, but then I went overseas for work for 2 months. And we couldn't do it, and I couldn't pass it up. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. We're off doing work, doing important stuff.
Yeah.
Man, Reekmind, I was talking earlier about making your lurching parts more stilted. That's Reekmind.
They lurch.
Yeah.
Lurch.
Oh, that makes sense. I've got a long sleeve from them. It's been lost in the mail for like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. I think that's part of it. There's like lurching, the delay, the dread.
Yeah.
That's really next level.
Loss, despair.
I blame Ozpost.
No, I was going to say, I think
It's
that's really Ozpost.
But yeah.
Do you reckon they're just sitting there and they're like, we're not going to send it. Let's not send it to him. Let's give him feelings. Let's make him feel more.
More respect if they're doing that. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
But no, I love Reekmind
It's
a
a
lot.
good secret thing to do.
Yeah. Withhold the merch for a little bit
Yeah.
for the anticipation.
Yeah. No, I think it's probably just Ozpost.
I think so. It's all good.
Get Ozpost on the pod. That's the beef.
Oh, wow.
That's the beef.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
And that's it. That's a wrap. No.
And that's it.
No.
So you played the Bendy on Saturday. This venue is fucking amazing. We love it. I want to know, because I haven't been to Brisbane for ages, what venues in Brisbane do you love playing? I know it's probably changed over the last couple of years as well. Do you have any favourites out there and any places that you love playing the most?
Brisbane's a strange place. You know, there's venues that put metal shows on, but they're kind of a bit few and far between these days. And and oftentimes they're bigger. So you either get a small venue or you get a big venue. You know, like recently the Zoo, which was like a semi-big venue, got bought by Crowbar, which was the only metal venue down there, and they kind of shut up their main shop and then they bought the Zoo. But it's a huge room, you know, great for international bands coming, but like if you want to put on a local show, it's just way too big, you know. And so we did our last one at a brewery called Soapbox, our last Immeasurable Darkness, and that was really great, and those guys are really cool. It's got, I mean, the venue's really awesome, but it's probably got the worst load in and load out that there is possible. You got to carry your stuff up like 4 flights of stairs.
Oh.
Yeah, which is brutal for like a base fridge, you know.
Yeah, and the conditions for parking just outside. This is real death metal talk,
Yeah, this is, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Conditions for parking just outside have just gotten worse.
That's right.
The loading zone's disappeared. You can't even.
Oh, dude.
Can't even load out directly
They're
under.
bringing in a new thing here where they're introducing more loading zones for live music venues.
Oh, that's cool. That's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great.
Oh, move to Melbourne. We're already in Melbourne. But
I think they've also fixed it as well, but one time we played there, the aircon wasn't working, and in Brisbane you need aircon working. In January.
We've had a few. We've
had a few venues
ones.
like that. That's
One
right.
of the Immeasurable Darkness gigs. The aircon in the whole venue was out.
That was brutal.
You know, it's the middle of summer each time.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah, it was really brutal.
People enjoyed it, but
Pestilential Shadows headlined that one, and they came up on Corpse Paint, and within, I reckon, 30 seconds, it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
the loading in with no loading zone, the bringing everything up 4 flights of stairs, the sweating your corpse paint off. I mean, it's pretty metal.
It's pretty Brisbane too, I think.
It's very,
Yeah.
it's very pain and suffering from the get-go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all part of the experience.
I feel like we take that kind of curse with us sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, that's going to jinx it. I was just about
Don't
to
say
say.
it.
Don't say it.
We haven't had too many of those this time. We played in Perth at a place called the Amplifier Bar. And we didn't have the current intro from Where All of Worth because it was the first album tour. But our songs still built up quite a bit. So I think we were playing probably the song Malignant Aura or something like that. Big transition. It was one that had a build.
Oh, that's
Got to
right.
the
Yeah,
first big
I know where you're going with this.
bass chord, and when it hit, it shook a crappy power board that was hidden behind the bass amp that short-circuited and tripped the 3-phase power for not just that venue, but the whole row of nightclubs along the block.
Oh, God. That is so metal.
It was great.
That's awesome. Shut down.
Devastation for the street.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was
crazy.
probably, it was a highlight of the doom side of our career.
That's right. Yeah.
That's ripping. That's
Oh, wouldn't be a music venue though without a couple of shitty power boards. That's the risk
Some
you
of
take.
them. Oh, God, some of them.
True.
Power boards into power boards into power boards.
Oh, yeah. Some of them it's a
We've
bit
all
questionable.
been in venues like that.
Yeah.
And just, as people who focus on the details and don't at all get worried about that type of thing, we're totally okay with that.
Yeah.
Doesn't stress us out at all.
wow.
Not even a second thought. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
The same thing happened in Auckland. When we played Auckland October last year. I plugged in my pedal board and I don't know what happened. Something happened, but the power supply didn't like it and shut down the power for the whole venue. Fried my power supply on my pedal board.
Oh.
Great.
That's rough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they part of the more memorable experiences that you've had on stage?
Devastation.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fine though, you know, like you get these hiccups and whatever, and I don't know, I think like Australian Kiwi bands, they're always the first ones to jump on and help. Like Auckland, for instance, like fried my power supply, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck am I going to do, you know? And then one of the other guys from other bands was like, just don't worry here. And he brought up his power supply and he plugged it all in for me. It was like sorted within a minute. It was crazy. So good. Yeah. It's
It's
awesome.
one of the, it's a good thing. We had the fortune to work with a lot of good bands and also a lot of people who have a lot of experience themselves, take quite a professional approach. So you're always looking out for each other, especially being in the niche that we're in.
Yeah.
And when you see someone go wrong for someone else, you can you take the opportunity to jump in and help them out, and they'll do it for you. So good, adds to the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I
gives
love
you a
about
good
this
story.
community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it's
Everyone wants
not
the show
ideal.
to go on,
Yeah.
so they'll do anything
Everyone's on
they
the same
can. Look
team.
out for each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legends.
Yeah.
You've been around in terms of like venues, and sounded so loaded. You've been around, guys.
So you guys have been
Yeah,
around.
gross. No
There was a I don't know if this should be on the podcast either, but there was one of the questions you sent through that sounded similar to this. Like it was like it came, the way it was it sounded, the way I was reading it was like, yeah, something like, you've been around. It felt like it was some kind of sexually angled question. It wasn't, but like the way it was phrased.
It's not that kind of pod.
And you were like,
Famous words from Ben.
I cannot wait to take this one.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been around.
So you've been around, yeah. Oh, jeez. Where I was trying to go with that is you've played, obviously, like to New Zealand, Perth. You've opened for some really sick bands, and I remember seeing you at Mournful Congregation a couple of years back. That was an insane show, by the way. Who have you enjoyed playing with the most?
That's a tough question.
Yeah,
It's a toughie, isn't it?
Got to pick our favourites out. We're going to create more beef with this one.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I think because you don't sit in one defined genre, which is amazing, because you can play with a range of different bands because your sound is so, I guess, experimental and sits in the death and doom world. But then also, when you play in Melbourne, the mixed bill, I don't know if it's like this in Brisbane, but the mixed bill is a really big thing here where different styles of bands will play together, just creating an even more like bigger night for everyone if you're seeing a few different things, and maybe you go and you're like, I've never heard of this band, and you get to see something completely different. So
yeah,
we certainly try with our shows to sort of cultivate or curate like a certain type of a bill.
yeah,
We're not trying to be gatekeepy or try to exclude people from the party, so to speak. But we do want, at least when we get the chance to be a bit more selective, to set people up to have a certain sort of a time, and we don't want to play with bands that sound just like us. In fact, it's probably, impossible with the weird eclectic mix of things that we do. We don't also want to necessarily put ourselves in a position where people won't be there to try to relate to and understand our art. So we are a little bit careful about that. And it probably has, it's sort of caused us to be a bit more selective about certain opportunities. In terms of favourite bands that we've played with or shows that we've done, it's a bit of a hard one. I mean, for me, I've got a few biases. Just playing with Sun Tzu the other night, that was a real big one for me. And Mournful Congregation, probably because, both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Old school Australian death metal that I haven't had a chance to play with before. Because we've been fortunate enough to play with a lot of classic bands. And then on the doom end, Mournful Congregation, those guys, I think their second album, The June Frost, was put out in partnership between a gentleman in Japan called Makoto and Weird Truth Records, and a label that Geeky, from Giant and Ishua, used to do, and that I played a small hand in. I was not one of the brains, I was just a guy who helped out in those days, called Obsidian. So we put out their second record. And then we got a chance to go over to Japan just as tourists and meet Makoto and talk shop with him. And then my old band went back on tour many years later and met with him again. And those guys have also been very supportive of us. So all of these things, like I guess in terms of the background of that story coming together and us getting to do the tour, just for me was a big moment. And I think Makoto from Weird Truth had flown over for it as well, so got a chance to see him for the first time in 5 or 10 years. So so that was probably a big one for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, the Uada shows we did last year were really great. Those guys were really cool. Those shows were really awesome. Had a great time. But I mean, personally, Mournful Congregation has been one of my favourite bands for, like, it feels like forever. I mean, June Frost is like a seminal album to me. And so that was so special to play with those guys. I mean, and that bill as well, when we played in Melbourne with them with Faceless Burial on it too. I mean, those guys rule. One of our first times down in Melbourne was with Faceless Burial as well. So, I mean, that made it extra special. And Vile Apparition was on the bill as well, who just put out an amazing album. So
Yeah, that lineup was enormous.
it was really cool.
Yeah,
It was
it's
really,
such
really
a
cool.
tiny room.
I know.
It was at the curtain, wasn't it?
It was the curtain upstairs, which also was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I had never actually been there before, and then playing a show there was...
It's kind of rare for me to see a show there. I really like going there. It's been done up in the last 10 years or something. Maybe.
Do you know it's also the birthplace of the labour movement and the 8-hour workday?
Oh, really?
Yes,
Started
I
there.
did know that.
Wow, I didn't
At
know
that pub, yeah.
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 There's something special about that upstairs.
Yeah.
I think while it's small in terms of maybe capacity, just the way that you're looking at the long end of the room, the stage is on the long end of the room. There's that the entry to the staircase is in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Don't fall down. But there's mirrors everywhere, and the lights just seem to be perfect. And wherever you stand in there, everything just sounds fucking sick. Yeah.
That was a really awesome show. Yeah, that was probably a highlight for me so far in our musical journeys. Yeah. But like New Zealand as well was phenomenal with Pestilential Shadows too last year. That was really cool.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to ask the other guys to see what they think, but maybe that's for another time.
It'll have to be.
It'll have to. We'll get all of you on the pub. We'll get another couch.
I'm not going to make you speculate because it's for another time. Similar interests, like musically, is there points of bands that you all agree on? Do you think it would be?
Yeah,
similar
100%.
interests?
Yeah, 100%.
There's we come into this band with a broad spectrum of musical interests, and as the center of that diagram, you can tell from listening to our music where some of the overlap lies. I think we all get into things like Autopsy, like Hooded Menace, Incantation is an old favorite of mine. Your Peacefills, your My Dying Brides, and your Paradise Losts, things like that. But one of the fun things about our band is we also bring a bunch of diversity in terms of our musical skill sets and interests as well. So, we've got people who are a bit more into the brutal death metal and fast technical drumming. We've got some jazz influences and weird chords and things that come in, and we can utilize them for our music. If we need to solve a technical challenge, we can get some of that jazz influence in and
your way out of it.
rearrange a chord and do an inversion that solves a problem.
That's right.
But we also just enjoy shooting the shit and talking shop. So we bring a lot of different influences to the table.
That's right. Yeah.
If you could dream, I know that we've talked about your favourite bands that you've played with so far. What would be an incredible opportunity for you? What would be like, oh my God, we want to play with that band? Who's that band around the world? Do you think you'd collectively come up with one, or would it be a difficult answer?
That would be difficult to answer. That'd be a different answer from everyone.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest influence for a lot of the stuff that I write for this band is Hooded Menace.
Yeah.
I love Hooded Menace, old Hooded Menace in particular. All of the strange, janky death metal parts are definitely Hooded Menace influence. That'd be phenomenal to play with those guys.
Yeah.
And then, also a band like Paradise Lost would be phenomenal. Old school Paradise Lost, huge influence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. What a galaxy brain type question,
Yeah, we do try and ask everyone to dream as big as you can. So the dream gig's going to be on Paolo's farm,
Yeah.
and it's going to be with Paradise Lost and Hooded
Holy
Menace.
shit,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Yeah. Who else is playing?
Look, for me, I bloody love old school death metal,
Yeah.
Finnish death metal. Especially, I come from a brutal death metal, twisted brutal death metal background. And sort of over the years, how we've had a bit of a OSDM resurgence, and a lot of bands are doing it so well, and then it's grown back to the point where people are twisting it up and getting it nice and strange again. I bloody love that type of stuff. So I'd probably talk about bands like Corpsest or Desolate Shrine from Finland. Cool. Bands that just take that old school sound and add their own thing to it and keep it dark.
The more obscure, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, nice.
We'll come to that gig.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Great.
Yeah, we'll fly ourselves over.
You can pay for it harvesting Paolo's tomatoes.
Yeah, everybody to work. It's such a silly question, but we've started asking it, and I don't ever know how to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that came from Dom and Mikey.
There was
in
the Dom
Israel.
and Mikey baby.
It was
yeah.
Oh, was it?
We said where,
What's your dream?
what's your dream venue? And they said, we'd love to play in an Al Jana, the chicken restaurant.
I think specifically at Preston, maybe or something.
I think it
Like
might have
really-
been specifically
really
the Preston
specific.
one.
Yeah.
I think in terms of a venue for me, playing in a cave would be phenomenal.
Sick.
That would be like
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Playing Death Doom in a cave would be so fitting. I would love that. But like,
If you didn't feel all your feelings with hearing you guys in a cave,
Yeah.
that nothing's going to help you.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
You're a lost cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
You don't
bl-
make it out of a cave.
Yeah.
Oh. Brutal.
Yeah.
I'd like to play at a big church.
Big church would
Oh.
also be fun. Fantastic.
You know the
Perfect this weekend. Well, maybe.
Yeah. For some subcultures.
For some.
and-
Yeah, pretty sacrilegious for us to do that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very far down.
be up to it.
Very far down the Doom end, but you know the Sun song, Big Church. There was footage going around for a while of them playing that song in a big church, and ever since it's stuck with me. I want to
Yeah.
play a big riff in a big church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nothing like it.
Oh. Watching sun at a big church. Oh my god.
A big church. Cathedral.
Big church and a big church.
Get the dictionary. Get the thesaurus out.
I didn't bring one.
It's not in your notes, is it?
It's not.
Handwritten notes.
It says
Big church.
tell Dan to shut up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it actually says that.
I actually wrote
saw that
your
with
notes for you,
teleconference.
so
Yeah, it's
weird that it
actually
says
written
that.
there. So look at my notes. So about
Dan is
you.
bald.
Remind Dan how bald he is. Joys.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether we should bring notes, and then I was thinking maybe we should get one of these like suitcases full of curiosities and oddities. You know, like you pull out the notebook, but then you also look at this trick.
Yes, okay, what are you bringing out? What are your curiosities? Are you a collector of curiosities?
We're curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favourite piece of
How,
anything?
how blue sky are we going? Is this one of these magical bags that can hold anything in
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. That is a bizarre question.
I can help you start. This
Yeah.
has come out of nowhere. It's just because we went off topic and now we might as well fucking stay
Okay,
off topic.
cool.
I have a collection of random hands at home.
Human hands, actual hands.
No.
Yeah.
I know, I've never told you this.
Is
Just
it
recently
is it a
moved
collection
house
of
and found
two?
Found all my hands.
No, so I just
Okay.
have like a different collection of things that are all shaped like hands.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, that's too much about me. That's fucking cancel me on the pod. Thanks for coming. Yeah,
I don't know.
turn you to know.
I don't want to be around anymore.
Bunch of hands.
I once this is way off topic, but I lived.
I think we were ever on.
Yeah, no, it's true. I lived in London for a while, and I once. It's such a long story. Anyway, I'll try to condense it as much as I can. I lived in London for a while, and at one time I had to catch the tube with 5 boxes of actual human remains, and I caught like for 6 stops on the tube. And I was like, man, if this train like stops suddenly and someone bumps into me and skeleton goes everywhere on the tube, I do not know what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I don't need any more
I
information.
want to and do not want to ask more.
It was perfectly legal for me to be in possession of these human remains.
So vague. Still so vague.
Do you have any spare hands? Because
Yeah,
Jess would
I
love to
love
take
lots
them
of
out.
I only have these ones, and I kind of need them, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna beat that one.
No, I reckon you've done it. That was the first time I've ever asked that question. Really fucking
It's
topped
good
it.
though. It's good to have.
But I'm not sure whether I would pull them out. I would want to have boxes of human remains.
Do you still have them?
No. I was transporting them from one place to another. The long version of this story is that I'm an archaeologist and I was working as an archaeologist over there.
Ah, the context
That's
is
what I mean.
here. Okay.
it's
It
great.
was much more brutal when you said, so I was on the tube just carrying human remains
human
around.
remains, yeah.
Yeah. Important
trust
question.
anyone
Can you
on
get
the
them
tube.
back?
Not anymore.
Damn it. We can make use of that.
You would be the first person to bring human remains on the pod.
Sure.
If you were. Yeah.
It's very
That we
much,
know of.
That we're aware of.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
right.
It's hard to know what Dom keeps in his pockets.
Not true.
Everyone's got human remains just under their skin anyway, so don't.
Oh,
We're
nice.
all human remains.
We're all human remains.
That's a brutal title for something.
That's really cool.
Let's start a band. Great.
You're in the middle of your tour at the moment. So a few days before taking off to the next leg. What can we expect for those shows? And then a little after that, what's happening after the end of your tour?
Yeah, so we've just wrapped up Adelaide, Hobart, Melbourne. Next stop is Sydney on the 18th of April, and that's with Mourners, Circle of Blood, Golgotha Remains, Mammoth's Throne. Circle of Blood, Mammoth's Throne also doing an album launch there, really excited. And then after that, on the 24th, we have Brisbane, hometown show. We're really, really pumped for it. We've got Grotesque Bliss on that one. We've got Carcinoid coming up for Victoria for that one. We've got Mammoth's Throne also doing an album launch that night. So
Huge.
After just seeing you here, like, I'm jealous I'm not at those shows because they sound great.
yeah, I think they'll be really, really cool. We're really excited about them.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
After that, a little bit of time off,
Absolutely.
time to rest and recharge,
Well
read a
deserved.
few horror stories, write a few riffs.
That's right. Yeah, kind of look to the future about writing, releasing something else. Rest and do that. Really, it's been a really great time, but a really long time and a lot of work to get the album out, and we're really pumped to get it out and show it to people. But it's also due for a rest and see what's next. See if we can inspire more great music. Really, yeah.
The album's out now, and you can get it at Bandcamp.
That's right. The album's out. Yep. So you can. It's released now on our Bandcamp. We've got it CD and vinyl. Although we don't have many vinyl left. CD is also available through Memento Mori from Spain. So they're doing the CD, and then locally Grindhead and Primitive Moth are releasing the vinyl. So they've got copies of that as well. But all of that, can be available through our Bandcamp, through our social media. Awesome.
So good. Are
Thanks.
all of the records coloured?
They are all coloured. They're all hand poured
Nice.
colours. Yeah. This first press is limited to 150.
Oh, wow.
And they have been selling very well on our tour. So I think we're going to run out of our supply pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, wow.
getting quick. Yeah.
Not surprised.
Yeah, definitely. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's good to see people snapping it up. quick.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us.
Thank you for having
So
us.
glad we could, sneak you away for a day or two on this tour.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you on the next show when you're in Melbourne.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
It's been very good to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been good
Thanks.
to get to know you guys. So thanks for joining, and well done on the release. It's been
Yeah.
awesome. We've really enjoyed it.
It's
So,
enormous.
yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Crushing
Means a
and
lot.
devastating in all the
Great.
best ways.
Good,
Hell yeah.
very good.
Yeah. Next time, bring a box of skeletons, please.
Box skeletons.
Box
the
skeletons
gong.
and the gong. It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like that's what we should have
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, we need to.
Damn.
We'll bring it back.
Imagine a sign off with a gong right now.
That would have been perfect.